Hello, everybody. Welcome to day. You know what day we are, right? So it's day 15, and we're going to be talking about how to tell stories that sell. Storytelling is an whole trick that never goes out of relevance. From being a child, being in primary school, secondary school, you still enjoy storytelling. When someone comes to you and says, "Do you know what? Let me tell you a story." Everybody attention goes in, even to the old ones. They say, and story is just like gist. Some of us ladies, guys, you go out, you have a moment and you just want to tell how your day went with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, with your friend, or with your family member. You just want to share the moment of what you've experienced, either it was sad, either it was comedy, comic, comedy, interesting, funny or not, engaging, stressful. You just want to share that story with them, right? That shows how it matters when it comes to storytelling. Storytelling, as I said earlier on, is an whole trick that keeps winning, right? So telling the right story and telling it in such a way that's captivative is very important. It does not have to be true. It could be fiction. There are a lot of you who read novels and they are fiction novels. They are not read, and you won't cry when reading those novels. You feel, you have this anticipation. Some of you who watch telenovela, who watch, these guys, what are they, Korean movies are ladies, right? The storylines, they might be true, they might not be true. Some are based on true life stories, some are not based on. But because it's story, the entertainment industry keeps winning because of storytelling. Music is about story, right? Storytelling too has a significant role it plays in the real estate space, and that's what we want to talk about today, right? So fact tells, story sells. Let me repeat that again. Fact tells, but story sells. People enjoy the storyline. I've noticed it a lot, right? I remember one of the teachings that some of you have reached out to me is when I shared my story of how I came to Abuja in 2022, and then now I'm a developer, and someone's like, how did you do that? And someone like, I can relate to your story. I remember when I came to Abuja, I didn't have where to stay. The same thing was with me. Okay, I even had where to stay, but we were sleeping on the floor. Right? Storytelling is beautiful. We have moments, we go out, we tell how it went. Storytelling is powerful, right? So listen to this. You can list all the benefits of your estate, talk about square meters, return on investment, location, but people only take action when they feel something. We've spoken about this in the last week. We talk about sales psychology, right? We talk about how sales is 80% emotional and 20% logic, right? When people feel connected to your story, when people feel connected to what you do, then they want to buy into what you have to offer, because that story. Now, one of the things you must see when Coca-Cola sells something, what do you think they sell? They sell enjoyment, they sell connections, they sell relationship, they sell moments, right? When you think of what brand, when you think of Nike, you think of easy. You don't see them sell shoes, you see them sell the experience. Now that is what you should sell in your story. Your story should talk about the experience. People buy into the emotional connections of your product, of your service. You must learn to sell the experience. True storytelling is one of the ways you can sell your experience, right? So why story sells is as a realtor, you're not just selling land, you are selling dreams. We've talked about this before. You are selling safety, selling peace of mind, selling investment for the future. You are selling generational wealth, right? You are selling dreams come true. There are a lot of people in your space who have the resources, but they don't even know how to go about it, and you are that right person to help them make that decision. That is dream come true for someone. Someone is 25 and is earning online and some dollars, and you help the person to secure good lands in Abuja and Lagos, wherever. You have put that person in another level. Do you understand? Imagine what it means for you to have a land at 25, at 30, at 35. Who's thinking about having a land at that age? But there are properties available for them to buy, right? So storytelling helps them to connect more, right? Yeah. Let people see your face when you tell the story also. You can use flyers to tell the story. You can use cursor, slide post to tell the story. Just make sure that it's captivating, right? If all you ever post are flyers, specs, price, you will look like every other agent. You have to do something different. You have to disrupt the market. But when you tell a story, you stand out. Your message sticks, right? Your message sticks more, right? So yeah, the storytelling formula. Here is a storytelling formula. Yes, simple storytelling structure that works every time. It's called the 3-part storytelling. The 3-part story selling formula. The 3-part storytelling formula, right? So the number one is the problem. Number one is what? The problem. Start with a relevant issue your audience understand, right? For example, a young couple in Abuja was frustrated. Their landlord increased their rent three times in 2 years. The frustration, that storyline. It can be true, it might not be true. It can be happy, it can be tragic. In fact, people connect more with tragic. This hooks the listener and they are thinking, that sounds like me. Imagine, I have a friend in Abuja. She has been on rent for the past 5 years and she cannot boast of any single asset. The only thing she has to her name is her phone and her educational certificate, of which she's not even using for the job she's currently doing. What I just told you, do you think it is true or it is a lie? It's true for somebody, but I don't know any friend that in that position, right? But it's true. A lot of people have been paying rent. Rent in Abuja ranges from 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 4 million in Abuja for a year. That rental money can secure somebody's future. Imagine. And when you learn to tell the story, people connect. And I told this my friend, you know what, babe, I love you. You're a very zealous young lady, and I really want you to get the best, And I began speaking with my friend, and you know what? She plugged into our project. She started with installments since her salary was around, let me not tell you her price, but it was something around 500 and thereabout. And then she started committing with 100k every month, and now she's a landowner, right? You've spoken something that someone can connect. Someone did not even see it is that easy for them to have a land to their name, but you made it look very easy, right? So that's one thing about storytelling, right? That's talking about the problem. Another thing is what? The search. The first one is what? The problem. The second one is what? The search. Share what they discover or tired to solve the problem, right? I hope you understand. Let me repeat that. Share what they discovered or tired to solve that problem. What they discovered or they are tired of solving a problem, right? For example, then they came across an offer in Ark Park Estate. Now I'm telling you a story. 300 square meter for 1 million, close to you in Abuja, and they don't have all the money, but they started with a deposit of 30%, and then they could spread their balance across 3, 6, 12 months, right? That is a storytelling. Tell with a search. I have a friend that was looking for how he could start his real estate investment journey, and then I introduced him to this opportunity in Abuja, in Gwagwalada, in Kuje, how he could just make 50% deposit, 30% deposit, and since he had some savings, he was able to make that deposit, and he's paying the rest of his balance gradually. And you too can be someone like that. Telling the story helps people to connect with you much better, right? That part builds connection and you show possibility. I hope you're getting value from it. The third one, which is the last one, is the results. The result. The first one is what? The problem. The second one is what? The search. Yes, thank you for commenting that. The search. And then the third one is what? The result. End with the positive outcome. So you start with the problem, then you go to the search, then you end with the outcome. Do you understand? That's the result, the outcome. End with the positive outcome: peace, ownership, relief, security, progress. Right? Look at the storyline again. Now I'm reading from my script. Now they have finished paying their installment dues. Their land is allocated. No more rent issues. Although paying rent, but have a future home to their name. They are planning to build by the next year. Saving to build. I hope you move from trying to get a land to saving to build. This closes the loops. It gives hope and it inspires action. So I hope you're going to be telling a story soon, and I hope that story is going to be true or it's going to be inspiring, right? So pro tips that you need to do: keep it real and relatable. That's one of the tips. Your story can be based on a real client, a general experience you've had or you've had yourself, or even an imaginary but realistic scenarios. Some of the things I was saying, not real stories, but they are imaginary scenarios, but they are very relatable. Very relatable, right? So you don't need to write a novel, please. Just 3 to 5 lines, structured with problem, search, and result. Just structure it, these 3 pointers, right? Problem, search, result. And then you have a story that tells, right? It sounds human, simple, and sincere. Do you understand? That's what makes it effective, right? So here's our assignment, the story challenge, right? Here's your mission for today, right? Write one short real estate story using the structure I shared earlier. Write one real estate story using the structure of problem, search, and result. Then post it on your status, screenshot it, post that story you've written on the Google Classroom, right? Post your story on the Google Classroom in the place of submit assignment, and you can also drop it on the group if you need us to give you feedback. So let your story speak for you today. Everyone out there needs to hear it, right? So real estate is not just about properties, it's about people, and you must learn to connect with people, especially emotionally. And people remember stories, not just sales or facts or whatever, right? So use your voice, your experience, your stories, and you will sell more than lands. You will sell solutions, you will sell connections, you will sell relatability. Some people might not buy from you, but they can just relate. You just put them in that loop that when it's time for them to buy, you are the go-to. Don't throw, in fact, let me give you as a bonus, don't throw away people who you feel that at this point they can't afford. Keep them in the loop. Keep them in the loop. Remain respectful, valuable to them. Keep giving them valuable tips till they grow from being cold to warm and hot. And then, who knows, something can happen, change for somebody overnight. The money comes in. Who's the first person it goes to? You are the one, right? So, see you in the next, right? And that'll be next week, day 16, right? So let's keep building together. Let's train, grow, sell, and succeed together. My name remains Emmanuel Adeyemi, and I'm super glad to be your lead on this journey. See you. Let's snap pictures.